Hello everyone, Trainer Diode here, welcoming you to another video. This will be part 2 on our starter Pokemon tier list series. I previously went through the base forms of these starters, but we, as trainers on our adventure, usually don't keep our starters on evolved for very long. As soon as you get into the teen levels, these starter Pokemon begin to blossom into their amazing final forms. But first, as we all did growing up, they have to go through their awkward teenage phase. If you haven't watched my previous video, I'll have a link in the upper right corner and in the description of this video so you can check it out, as my opinion on these middle stages is not the same as their base forms. Going through the tiers again in a TLDR fashion, S are my favorites, A tier are Pokemon I really like, B is the average tier, C is the Pokemon I'm usually indifferent to, and D is the Pokemon I dislike. If you have caught up with the previous video, then let's get on with this one as I show you my starter Pokemon middle stage evolution tier list. Starting off the S tier, we have Quilladin. Cyndaquil just kept getting better with more training. Quilladin is a definite upgrade from the base form. The small fire on its back has now become a tail and a cool 80s mohawk. The design is sleeker than Cyndaquil's more compact shape. Quilladin also learns one of the coolest moves in the game, being Flame Wheel. Just imagine this badass Pokemon covering itself in flames and charging at your Pokemon at full speed. The Pokédex says Quilladin turns its back to the opponent and blasts them with the fire on it. I mean, Quilladin's so cool, it doesn't even need to look at explosions. Treecko is another Pokemon that gets even cooler when it evolves. Groval's design, I think it's the best in its evolutionary line. Sorry, Sceptile lovers. The leaf blades that grow on its arms are amazing for its fighting style, and it using the large leaf on its head as a weapon, combined with amazing speed, makes Groval a force to be reckoned with. If you need further proof of this, just watch the episodes in the anime where Groval does battle, and fall in love with it as much as I did. A definite upgrade to Treecko. Diode is my favorite middle stage starter evolution. As I stated in my previous video, I love my water starters. And as I am writing this very script, I'm playing Pokemon Black 2. And I'm tearing through trainers with Razor Shell's critical hits. I love everything about Diode. The design is badass, now wielding 2 shells instead of 1, that it uses as weapons with varying techniques. It has shell armor as a hitting ability, proving that it can also use its shells as defensive shields. I just imagine Diode flowing through the battlefield with grace while it decimates its opponents with a flurry of fast attacks. The final entry in my S tier is Torracat. To keep this short and sweet, just listen to what I said about Litten in my previous video. Again, link in the description below. And then add a massive amount of absolute love and appreciation for Torracat. I think it's the best middle stage evolution in Gen 7. Obviously. And I generally battle Ilima as soon as I finish his trial just so I can have Torracat hold the Everstone for the rest of the game. A lot of videos I have watched put Torracat lower because they don't like its bulky design, but I absolutely love it. Having grown up around cats all my life, I can appreciate a tougher looking kitty. Sharing a spot with his previous evolution, Ivysaur sits in the A tier. I can appreciate Ivysaur's design quite a lot since it's, in my opinion, one of the most natural in this category. The small seedling has now turned into a blooming bud, the leaf on his bags now grow larger, and its body gets tougher to serve as a host for it. I think it's the only starter Pokemon that has a symbiotic relationship during its development process. This extra bit of complexity to its design make me enjoy Ivysaur way more than the rest of the grass starters. Well, except for Grovyle. Crawling from the depths of this list, Charmeleon claws its way into the A tier. I really enjoy the raptor aesthetic used to design Charmeleon. The bigger claws show that it means business when in battle, and the darker red color adds more intensity to the design. Same with the horn it starts to grow on his head. Charmeleon was a badass in the anime when it evolved during the episode March of the Executor Squad. It has also been featured in many other episodes and it has never disappointed. Too bad it has to evolve and be... Making its way from the local furry convention, Braixen lands in the A tier for me. Let's be honest, no one could have thought Fennekin would evolve into a bipedal creature. I mean, it has never happened before with any other fire type starter, so... Jokes aside, Braixen is a really cool evolution, adopting the wizard theme that rounded up the RPG class trio of the Gen 6 starters. The fact that it uses a branch as a wand to canalize its power so it can use attacks feels really original to me, since most Pokemon are just given the magical organ that can produce said attack treatment. Sure, a magical Firefox being able to cast spells with a wand is a bit off the wall too, but I digress. Serena's Braixen in the anime was a welcome upgrade to Fennekin. Don't get me wrong, I adored Fennekin, but Braixen just brought a little extra to the contests whenever it appeared. Rounding up the A tier is Frogadier. Frogadier is the rogue/thief RPG class in the Kalos starters, and it definitely shows. It's fast, it's sleek, it's very agile, and it has a moveset that plays into that role. I really like its design more than Froakies because it still looks like a frog, but it has some attitude to it. Ash's Frogadier was his hardest working Pokemon during the Kalos story arc, and I believe it to be one of his best before it evolved. And now is when my descriptions start to get either way too short or way too long. Wartortle leads the charge in the B tier. To me, Wartortle has a lackluster design. I just dislike the weird fur-like ears it has and its tail. I guess the design had to change drastically so it could be different from Squirtle, but it's a design I can't appreciate much. Thankfully, it's actually useful in battle and it evolves into Blastoise, so that saves it from being lower in the tiers. Bayleaf is the least average mon in the B tier. I really enjoy its design and, like Chikorita, it was an absolute sweetheart in the anime. But just like Chikorita, it's not too good in battle, and there are way more grass types out there that can do what it tries to do, but better. The buds growing on its neck and the leaf getting bigger on its head are great design choices, just like Ivysaur's. Unlike Ivysaur though, it has no battlefield presence. I love to have a Bayleaf as a pet, just not as a battle companion. Marshtomp is not a Mudkip evolution. Marshtomp is Mudkip after too much Chip Outlet, which explains the face. Aside from that, Marshtomp is an extremely good Pokemon for any sort of playthrough from Gen 3 and forward. The typing of Water Ground gives it an immunity to one of its original weaknesses, even though it now gains a quad weakness to Grass, but that's it, that's the only weakness. Trust me, I wanted to put it higher on the list, but it's that darned face! Another redemption story comes along with Servine. That, just like Charmeleon, left its previous form in the dust and climbed up a few tiers. Sure, it basically looks like Snivy, but there are a few minor details that make me appreciate it more than its base form. The frills on its neck become a color, the face gets more slender, and the proportion on its eyes are way better than the gigantic lenses Snivy has. It stays in the average tier because even though I enjoy the design a little bit more, it kinda sucks in battle unless it has Contrary as its ability. Moving down below the average threshold, we start the C tier off with Croconaw. It has an egg patterned diaper. I have no idea why Totodile evolved into this prehistoric looking child croc. I think it looks super silly and its underbite is nothing to write home about. I can understand Grottle's design. Wait, actually no, I can't. What happened to its head twig? Why are the bushes now on its back when Turtwig had nothing like that? Most of the evolutionary designs take characteristics from its previous forms and adds to them, just like Ivysaur's butt growing. I don't hate it as much as it may seem because it is what Chikorita wanted to do, but better. Sadly, I like Bayleaf way more, so that's why Grottle will stay down here. I don't like Monferno that much. Sure, it's a really cool Pokemon. It starts learning fighting moves to help against some of its weaknesses, but the design is something I can't really get behind. And that's why he's on this tier. I really like everything about it, except for his design. Quilladin is round. It's cute, but it's just so dumb looking. The first time I saw its design, I thought it was fake because it just looked so silly. Don't worry, buddy, you get better. Braixen is the definition of an awkward teen face. Popplio is cute as a child, but then it grows up and starts to try on weird dresses and hairstyles. I just don't get why it suddenly grew on a dress. Started at the top, and now we're here, at the bottom of the list. Okay, let's make this quick. Combusken looks less like a chicken, definitely deviating from Torchic's design, and instead looks like a big fighting. Prinplup definitely loses the cute aspect Piplup had. It's supposed to be a prince, and I guess it does, if you think about a big pompous royal family member who's actually a big piece of Pignite I really dislike. They really did a disservice to poor Tepic. Why did Game Freak have to make it so damn ugly? I swear, Mom, it's not a face. Thank Arceus it actually was. Thankfully, as almost everyone while growing up, this teenage phase is just a transition to bigger and better things when it comes to Pokemon. Just like I said in the last video, if you want to type in your own opinions in the comments or whether you want to agree or disagree. But please, keep it respectful. This finally concludes part 2 of the starter trilogy. Next time we'll be taking a look at the final stages of these starters. If you want to, please consider subscribing to the channel because I'll be starting a new Let's Play soon. If you do decide to subscribe, please click the notification bell so you don't miss any upload. Thanks to everyone for watching. That'll be all for now. Catch you later, trainers.